You are 45 years old. You are halfway to the grave, but your utility ended 3 years ago. You are no longer growing. You are simply aging. You traded your potential for a paycheck and a false sense of safety. The market does not reward maintenance. It rewards growth, and you have none left. You are easily replaced by someone younger, faster, and cheaper. If you do not change your trajectory immediately, you will arrive at 50 with no leverage and no exit strategy. You are not getting by, you are expiring. Let me be clear. You are not failing because you are weak. You are failing because you were never warned. No one told you that testosterone drops 1% per year after 30. No one told you that muscle mass begins a silent retreat at 35 and accelerates after 40, unless you fight for it with iron and protein. No one told you that your brain's neuroplasticity, the ability to learn, adapt, and rewire, is already shrinking, and every year of inaction makes the next change harder. You were sold a lie, that life is a gentle slope upward, that success is a reward for patience, that things will work out. But they don't. Not for men who wait, not for men who comply, not for men who confuse comfort with safety. Comfort is the enemy. It is the warm trap. It feels like rest, but it is slow suffocation. You think you are tired because of work. No, you are tired because your mitochondria, the power plants inside every cell, are underfueled and neglected. You feed them sugar and stress and expect them to run a marathon. You sleep 7 hours and wonder why your focus is broken. But 7 hours is not the goal. 7 hours of deep, uninterrupted, dark sleep is the goal, and you are not getting it. You scroll in bed. You drink wine to unwind. You tell yourself caffeine fixes fatigue. It does not. It masks the symptom while the disease spreads. Your body is not broken. It is responding exactly as designed, to neglect. When you starve it of movement, sunlight, real food, and purpose, it does the only logical thing. It downshifts. It conserves. It prepares for the end. Not death, irrelevance.
You say you want to be productive, but you confuse busyness with output. You answer emails for 3 hours and call it a win. You attend meetings where nothing is decided and call it contribution. You check tasks off a list that leads nowhere and call it progress. This is not productivity. This is performance art for the mediocre. Real productivity is measured in leverage. How much impact does 1 hour of your time create? A surgeon saves a life in 90 minutes. A writer finishes a chapter that changes how thousands think. A father teaches his son how to throw a punch, not to fight, but to respect his own strength. That is leverage. What did your last 10 hours produce? A trail of crumbs or a foundation? Let's talk about time. You say you don't have enough. That is false. You have exactly 1,440 minutes per day, same as Elon Musk, same as the man who built a business in his garage, same as the guy who lost 80 pounds in a year. The difference is not time. The difference is allocation. You give 47 minutes to TikTok. You give 92 minutes to news that makes you angry and changes nothing. You give 200 minutes to passive consumption, shows, podcasts, YouTube, while telling yourself you are learning. You are not learning. You are numbing. Knowledge without action is mental hoarding. It makes you feel full, but leaves you empty. You are collecting strategies like trading cards, waiting for the perfect moment to play them. There is no perfect moment. The perfect moment was 6 months ago. The next best one is right now. Your environment is rigged against you. Society does not want you sharp. It wants you soft. It wants you predictable. It wants you buying things to fill the hole where purpose should be. Every app, every ad, every convenience is engineered to keep you in the loop. Stress, distraction, relief, guilt, repeat. This is not an accident. It is the business model, and you are the product. Your attention is sold. Your data is mined. Your anxiety is monetized. You are not lazy, you are hijacked. But here is the hard truth. No one is coming to unplug you. You have to rip the cord out yourself. And it will hurt, because withdrawal from distraction feels like loss. But it is not a loss. It is recovery.
You do not need more motivation. You need fewer exits. Motivation is a spark. It dies in wind. What survives is structure. You must build a system so tight that failure requires effort. Wake at 5:30, not because it is magical, but because the world is quiet and your prefrontal cortex is fresh. Drink 500 milliliters of water before coffee, because dehydration drops cognitive performance by 15%. Move your body for 30 minutes before checking your phone, not as punishment, but as declaration. I own this day. Eat protein first, never sugar, not for aesthetics, but for stable blood glucose, stable mood, stable decisions. These are not suggestions. They are non-negotiables. Miss one, and the whole machine wobbles. Miss three, and you are back in the loop. You say you are stuck in your job, but let's be honest, you are not stuck. You are choosing safety over risk. You stay because the paycheck is steady, and the shame of quitting is louder than the pain of staying. But staying is costing you more than money. It is costing you self-respect. Every day, you stay in a role that does not demand your best. You train your brain to accept less. You normalize decay, and the brain believes what you feed it. Do this long enough, and you will forget what it feels like to be capable, to be needed, to be dangerous in a good way. You are not built for compliance. Your ancestors crossed oceans, fought wars, and built shelters from nothing. They did not wait for permission. They saw a gap and filled it. You have the same DNA, but you are using it to argue online and optimize Netflix queues. Your relationships are suffering not because people changed, but because you did. You stopped showing up as a man who leads. You traded presence for productivity theater. You hug your kids with one arm while checking Slack with the other. You tell your wife, "I'm fine," when your eyes say, "I'm drowning." She knows. They all know. But they wait for you to speak first. And you never do, because vulnerability feels like weakness. But it is not. Vulnerability is the first act of rebuilding. Admitting you are lost is not surrender. It is the only way to get directions. The men who survive midlife are not the strongest or richest. They're the ones who asked for help before it was too late. Let's talk about money. You think you need more income? No. You need more control. Right now, your finances are reactive. You earn, you spend, and you panic on the 28th. You call it living paycheck to paycheck. But that phrase hides the truth. You are living on the edge of collapse. One flat tire, one medical bill, one layoff, and the whole house of cards falls. This is not bad luck. This is poor design. You have not built buffers. You have not created options. You have not acquired skills that cannot be outsourced or automated. Your job is not your asset. Your ability to solve expensive problems is your asset. Start there. Learn one high-value skill: negotiation, writing, coding, or sales, and master it in 90 days. Not dabble, master. Because mastery creates leverage. Leverage creates choice. Choice creates freedom. And freedom is the only currency that matters after 40. You keep waiting for a sign, a wake-up call, a health scare, a divorce, a layoff. But the most dangerous men are not those who get the wake-up call. They're the ones who hear it coming and act before it strikes. You already have the signs. The extra 20 pounds that won't leave. The afternoon crash at 3 p.m., the way your heart races after climbing stairs. The silence in the car on the way home. The thought that whispers, "Is this it?" That is not depression. That is your soul trying to get your attention. Ignore it long enough, and it goes quiet. And when it does, you become one of the disappeared. There is no such thing as balance. That word was invented by people who have never built anything. What you need is priority. You cannot give equal weight to fitness, family, work, and growth. You must choose what gets fed today and starve the rest. Not forever, just until the foundation is solid. A man with weak legs cannot carry his family up a mountain. A man with no savings cannot stand up to a corrupt boss. A man with no mission becomes a tool for other people's missions. So ask yourself, what is the one thing that, if fixed, would change everything else? Is it sleep? Strength? Cash flow? Clarity? Pick it. Not 2, not 5, 1. And attack it like your life depends on it, because it does.
You are not failing because you lack potential. You are failing because you have not declared war on your own mediocrity. You are negotiating with your weakness instead of crushing it. You say, "I'll start Monday." But Monday is a myth. It is the land of endless tomorrows where dreams go to die. Real change starts the second you stop asking how and start doing this. Not a plan, not a vision board, this. One push-up, one page written, one cold call made, one hard conversation had. Action is the antidote to anxiety. Not thinking, not planning, moving. The clock is not your enemy. Your hesitation is. Every minute you spend doubting, you are giving your future self a smaller life. You will not regret the work. You will regret the silence, the years you spent waiting for permission, the dreams you folded up and put in a drawer labeled someday. Someday is a cemetery for potential. And the headstone reads, "Here lies a man who almost did something great." This is not a pep talk. This is a field report from the front lines of your own life. The enemy is not out there. It is in the mirror, and it is winning. But wars are not lost in a day, and they are not won by wishing. They are won by men who get up, strap in, and do the work, while the world sleeps, while the doubters mock, while their own body begs for mercy. You are not too old. You are not too far gone, but you are running out of time to pretend otherwise. So choose, right now, in this second. Are you going to keep drifting, or are you going to fight your way back into your own life? There is no third option. There never was.